To today's session. Today we'll be discussing about a mid-cap fund which has been a consistent performer. So the fund is HDFC Mid-Cap Opportunities Fund. It's a, as you can see, it's a mid-cap fund, right? Now let's see more details about this particular fund. Now, if you see the return, if you had invested 10,000 rupees since its inception, it would have turned 68,000 rupees. Whereas the category average is near about 58. So it's about 10,000 more than the category average and nearly 30,000 more than the index, right? So it has performed considerably well. And if you see, there have been partial managerial changes, but not a complete overhaul of the management team. When it comes to the investment details, I've always said check the exit load 1% if you redeem within a year. Very important, the assets. It's a high AUM fund. I guess in the mid cap category, it's the largest, right? So you should be wary of the agility of this fund. The expense is average. It's the category average also. It's 1.5. One very interesting thing is turnover. See, being a mid cap fund with a turnover of 10%, it's excellent. The turnover is excellent, which shows that the fund manager has confidence in his pickings, right? When it comes to the asset allocation, presently it is nearly 92% in equities, and the rest is in the form of cash. When it comes to the factor profile, see, of all this, I'll just say that being a mid cap fund, it is high on momentum. Quality is above average, right? But volatility is below average, which is very good considering this is a mid cap fund. Size is below average, so the avenue for growth is there, right? Risk profile, see, when it comes to the Sharpe ratio, it's a bit more than the index, right? When it comes to the alpha, it's way more than the what are the category or the index has offered, and when it comes to beta, it is at par with the category. So it is generating more alpha but with a lesser risk. So that's the most important characteristics or feature of this particular fund, right? When it comes to exposure, it's highly invested into financial services, consumer cyclical, and industrial. The rest of the allocation you can definitely see. When it comes to the category, see, when it comes to category, in the first case, basic material, the category percentage is 12%, whereas this fund invests lesser than the category. But in financial services, the category is 21.26, but this fund invests more than the category average. So this tweakings always works in the sphere of fund management. The top 10 holdings, you can definitely see the topmost is Indian Hotels Company Limited with a nearly 4% of portfolio weight. Then Tata Communications and Bharat Electronics are the top three holdings. And if you see the last one, that is IPCA Laboratories, it is in the fund has invested in this company since 2007, and that's a commendable job when it comes to long-term investing. When it comes to upside or downside capture ratio, it's excellent, excellent. When it comes to upside, it's at par with the, better to say, more than the category. And when it comes to downside, it is way better than the category average. So it's definitely a good fund when it comes to the market volatility measures, right? Number of stocks 63, right? Healthy figure, not at all an inflated figure. It's a healthy figure. And if you see, the top three sectors cover nearly the half of the portfolio. So it's kind of sector heavy fund, right? These two managers manage the fund. Chirag has been since Chirag is heading this fund management team since 2007. He is one of the experienced fund manager in the mid cap and small cap space. Dhruv joined basically late this year only. This year Dhruv joined, and earlier he used to work with Motilal Oswal, right? So he has considerable experience, right? Now, when it comes to our analysis, I know you all wait for our analysis, what we think about this particular fund. So see, this fund basically invests in companies with a solid business model, strong moat, that is a strong competitive advantage, and most importantly, the balance sheet should be clean. The balance sheet should be absolutely clean, right? Secondly, this particular fund or the fund manager invests in companies with a proven track record. That means this fund manager doesn't venture into new businesses, right? It invests in companies with a proven track record. So you can be very sure about the quality of the pickings, right? It invests in companies that have reasonable cash flow, very important when it comes to business. And at the same time, that those businesses should have high ROE, that is return on equity. The portfolio construction is generally bottom up, as well as the stock selection is also bottom up, right? Very important when it comes to risk management, the exposure per company is around 5% for mid cap stocks and 3% for small cap stocks. This is kind of a filter that this particular fund uses, right? Now, lately, you all know Mr. Prashant Jain left HDFC Mutual Fund or AMC after a considerable duration. But even after his departure, many equity managers left the company. But at the same time, the company was able to recruit experienced fund managers that have experience of over a decade, individual experience of over a decade. So it shows that the AMC has the ability to attract quality talent, right? Now, if you come to the performance phase, it has shown strong performances over a 3 or a 4 year timeline. But you can be very sure that this fund has also gone through a phase of underperformance, and that's perfectly all right when it comes to fund. So it has gone through underperformance since 2019 and 2021, near about 2 years. As I always said, that if a fund is kind of possesses high AUM, so you should be mindful of the liquidity risk, right? That doesn't mean that the fund would be able to perform, but somewhere down the line, the agility gets compromised, right? Now, this particular fund may lag behind its competitors during those market phases. I guess in the kind of bull run when speculation is the top of the tongue, because this fund doesn't invest in companies who speculate, right? And most importantly, psychologically speaking, as you can see that this particular fund has an contrarian style of investing. So it may lead to a different performance, kind of divergent performance, if you compare with the category. But on a on a larger scale, definitely this fund has performed well. But over a short period, you may see some divergent performances. So our rating, our judgment of this particular fund as of today, 26th of October, is you can, if you're a beginner, you can definitely buy this particular fund. And if you are a existing investor, you should hold your investments and keep doing your SIPs, right? Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow with a different fund analysis. And I hope you have enjoyed today's session. And let's